Another year, another WoW expansion, another year of mages being the main characters of World of Warcraft. None of which matters because I haven't bought The War Within. So today we're going to be playing Runescape, the old one. And we're going to be playing it for 100 hours, an arbitrary number that means nothing. But according to some people, the first 100 hours should be an inverse honeymoon period. A sad period where you have to suffer before you can start enjoying anything. And I cannot disagree more. And so please leave a like and maybe press that subscribe button and ring that bell for future notifications. Now, this isn't my first time in RuneScape because I played this game when I was young. I fished some shrimp, baked some cake, and then I got bored and went back to Dota. You know, before League was even a thing. And thankfully, downloading RuneScape was easy peasy. All I had to do was download this Jagex launcher for Windows, don't blow my cover to the deep state, log in with my email, download 114 gigabytes of data, oh sorry, wrong game. I mean 6.59 megabytes of data, be reprimanded for not having updated my graphics drivers for over 6 months, and lastly give yet another company access to my personal data. And we can finally play the game, which for some reason is off-center, and unfortunately it carries on to the main game. But before we fix this, we need to do something very important, and that is to give a name. Only the second hardest thing to do after customizing your character. Now, what would be a good name for a character? I want it to be strong, to be masculine, to be a paragon of freedom and truth. Perfect. Not at all related to the lady who said,
"Do not come."
because Hamala Maris is definitely coming for RuneScape. Starting with a familiar site, Tutorial Island, where I will relearn everything I knew about RuneScape. Oops, sorry about that, Hamala. I'm relearning the camera, okay? But you know what? My screen is still very off-center, so let's fix that. Ah, thank God. Not having myself on center was annoying the shit out of me. And so is this constantly blinking yellow arrow on top of this guy. Well, no use prolonging the agony. Let's talk to the guy, who commends me for being a normal person and talking to him. And then asking me about how skilled I am with the game. Well, buddy, let me tell you, I helped bake a cake for the Duke of Lumbridge Castle. And so I lie and tell him I'm a RuneScape virgin. And while he was busy yapping away, I noticed something in the background, a goddamn treasure chest. Surely there must be something in there. Nope, absolutely nothing. Wait, maybe he's just keeping it somewhere else, like that drawer. Nope, still empty. And so I search every nook, cranny, and bookshelf, and I got nothing. Okay, no more fooling around. Time to begin our epic adventure by catching some shrimp, cutting down this tree, and getting some logs. And discover that people in RuneScape can magically walk on fire. I mean, that's a cool trick and everything, but I need to cook my shrimp. And you're standing all over my fire. Oh, wait a minute, I can just cook over you. Look at these delicious cooked cockroaches of the ocean. The perfect snack for a trip down the mines, where this peculiarly dressed man wants me to give him some bronze bars. And we all know where bronze bars come from. You see, when tin and copper love each other so much, they tend to form an alloy called bronze, with the help of a few thousand degrees Celsius. All common information I know at the back of my head from all the years I spent as a lab rat. But anyway, we go back to our instructor, who now wants us to make a bronze dagger. And so Hamala hammers away, pretending to know exactly what she's doing, which is pretty much every real-life job. And somehow we manage to shape ourselves a little dagger. Unfortunately, I make one more than what is required. But this is good, right? Because my labor means this bronze dagger has more value than the bar. Right? Isn't that how the world works? Well, anyway, on to the next step of our journey. We get training on how to be cannon fodder for a war with our combat instructor, who happens to be the greatest swordsman alive. And for some reason, he's down here in this damp, dark, and plague-ridden cave teaching wannabe adventurers like Hamala Maris. Well, let's see what these bronze weapons can do against enemies that definitely are not found at the start of every adventure. A big-ass rat, which dies just after a few strikes. Well, I only had to kill one. Let's get the fuck out of here. And it turns out being the best swordsman also means being the best archer. Time to trade in my sword and shield for a bow and a few arrows. And funnily enough, ranged combat in RuneScape is all about abusing this one simple trick, which is to put an empathable object between you and the enemy, and they're just going to sit there and take everything. No retaliation. We're finished with the range tutorial, and we've also done the melee. We all know what's next. That's right, the magical art of banking. Now surprisingly, unlike those greedy banks in the real world, the banks in RuneScape don't seem to charge anything extra. So how do these banks finance themselves? Well, your guess is as good as mine. And then we get introduced to a beacon of democracy, where you can help the game developers direct what content you want first. If you're a paying member, of course. And what does a RuneScape membership get me? Well, a lot of things apparently. more skills, a bigger world, and so much more. But for now, let's stick to the free version, see what it offers. And we are directed to the next part, a place of worship. Look at this little chapel. And is that his room at the back? I feel like I want to do something. But no, we're just here to pray. And in exchange, we get some pretty powerful bonuses, like some thicker skin. And all this power is yours for the price of 1 weekly sermon. Now actually in RuneScape, you just touch this altar, and whoever are the gods in the RuneScape universe will give you their power. Who are the gods in the RuneScape universe anyway? I never really got into the lore of RuneScape. I'm sure we'll find out eventually. And after praying, we go to the last skill, some real magic. And I kind of remembered why I didn't like magic in this game. Because you need to fill up your inventory slots with runes. And only with these runes can you cast spells and kill chickens. It is also not the most visually impressive, but this is a game from the early 2000s. And with a short tutorial concluded, it's time to teleport into Lumbridge. Or not? What is Iron Man mode? Is this a PvP thing? Or is it like a solo self-found mode? And after talking to the tutor, it is a solo self-found mode. As I'm playing in the free version, I don't want to lock myself out of anything yet. So let's try a regular game. 1 trip to Lumbridge, please. Lumbridge Castle. I remember this place. Missing a few campfires at the middle of the street though. But I don't remember you. Are you here to guide me? Because I could have used you long ago when I was just a dumb kid. Now I know how to use the internet, kind of. And yep, Adventurer John is here to help. And here we have the Adventure Path system. And for doing the things you would normally do in-game anyway, you actually get rewarded. And the Adventure Paths cover not only your combat skills, but also some gathering skills. If this system existed when I was playing this as a kid, I would probably be addicted to this game instead of World of Warcraft. But anyway, let's chip away at the gathering paths first, starting with woodcutting. So let's go chop up some trees, contribute to global warming by burning some logs even though I don't need to, and notice that I had a combat path starter kit in my inventory, which contains everything I will ever need, from a sword to a staff to some armor, and honestly I'm a bit overwhelmed. I don't know if I want to be a warrior or a mage, but I definitely don't like ranged combat. And I remember spells require a lot of runes, and therefore a lot of money. And so Hamala's fate is sealed. She is now a warrior, until I become rich. And I was doing something. Oh yeah, chopping wood. This game makes me more scatterbrained than usual. But that's a good thing because it means I'm interested, or lacking coffee. The trees get chopped up eventually and I'm able to claim my rewards from Adventurer John. A better axe and some more wood? I could use the axe but not the wood. And now I'm wondering, should I finish the adventure paths or find something else interesting to do? And so I opened the world map. And the world of RuneScape is actually pretty massive. It's something I never really realized when I was a kid. Probably because I was too dumb to realize scope and scale. Oh, and look at that, a black square. I wonder what this is. But yeah, the world of RuneScape is very expansive. There's so many places for members to explore, but me, I'm trapped here, in this zone. So I go out and touch grass, smell the world, hug a tree. Was it exactly as I remembered it? And then I run out of run energy, and now I'm RP walking. This is not fun, but what can I do? After walking around the general area, I think it's time we go back to grinding. Let's start with our melee fighting skills first, and what is the best target practice dummy for your melee skills? A woman. At least that's what the cesspool that is the internet tells me. But I'm a firm believer in equal opportunities, so I beat up men as well. But before we get into this too much, I feel like I should do a quest. And so I go up to the castle and talk to the Duke. Pretty strange that you can just go to his room and talk to him. And he gives us a talisman we're supposed to get to the wizard's tower, which is over here. I mercilessly beat up a bunch of goblins on the way, walk along a long stone bridge, hook up with a hairy older man in a dark and damp basement as he gives you his package, walk to the city of Varrock for another hookup, be chased and almost beaten to death by a magic casting hobo, be assaulted by the lamer non-magic casting hobo, hook up with an older gentleman in the city, walk back to the wizard tower in shame, spot a unicorn, and finally I come back to my first hookup, who gives us a toy to play with. And if you ask him nicely, he can even take you into his personal goon cave where you can take his white essence. Rune essence, that is, used to craft runes for magic. What a nice quest. And now I want more. So I go back to the one and only quest I managed to finish when I was a kid, and that is to help the cook bake a cake for Duke Horatio. And first we go to a torture pen where cows are kept forcibly pregnant so that they can keep producing that yummy milk. Next we break and enter into someone else's house and take what could potentially be their future children. And then we gather a few plants and turn it into dust. And finally turn it over to the cook who will bake us a cake. And thank God I'm a heartless, soulless monster, because I love meat, eggs, and dairy. But could any one of you imagine the life of a farm animal? You could just be grazing around your fenced field, and all of a sudden someone is chasing you and then bashing you in the head. You could be born just now, and then somebody wants to kill you already. And they want everything down to the bones. And they do it again, and again, and again, and again. And sometimes they even get creative with the way they kill you. They hunt you down with a bow for a little fun, and sometimes even cast spells at you. And they get even better at it too. But now let's follow our genocide with more genocide. Oh hey, whoa there. Wait, what is that? Is that an imp named Dunce with a dunce cap? Oh, I definitely need to see what this is about. What do you even want from me, Dunce? Did I kill too many people? What? A test? Is attendance mandatory? Because I just want to bash people's heads in. Can't believe I'm back in school. Wait, what is this? A dragon? A teacher dragon? That a cyclops? And a zombie? Okay, I definitely don't belong here. But I'll bite. Give me the test, which happens to be a simple college entrance exam. Okay, gardening tools. So it's this one. Bangles, baubles, and fineries. Okay, you, and we're done. We're back to the first puzzle, I guess, and these are definitely armors. I guess you look like armor? Ayo, we're done. And I didn't have to answer 100 of them this time. I even got this book of knowledge, which I'm going to use without a thought, on magic, granting me a tiny amount of experience. Every bit counts, I guess, especially when you're facing off against your fellow wizards. And these guys are no joke. Now you may be asking why I'm wasting my time killing these blue wizards? Because I want their hat. Surely they'd drop them. Any time now, one of these blue wizards are going to drop that hat. Now stop interrupting me, I'm farming. Punishment? I'm not stepping in some medieval torture device. Sorry man, I can't match your freak. Even though I got stamina, they say I'm an athlete. Eventually though, I do get my wizard hat. Unfortunately, I got it while I was not recording. But hey, cool wizard hat. The perfect headwear to blast people with a bow. I don't remember why I wanted to farm this hat so much. But it's the lower levels. I don't think it even matters. And here's my first complaint about RuneScape as someone who barely played the game. There's so many directions you can take your character to, and I end up doing everything randomly. There's no direction. My clothes have no direction. I'm wielding a bow and wearing a wizard hat. And while I was training my bow skills, I realized that unlike melee skills, I'm actually going to need funds. Because these bows consume a lot of ammo, and the mage spells consume a lot of runes. And I'm broke, and so I sell myself to indentured servitude at the general store. Just kidding, what I actually did was I killed a bunch of goblins, took their gold, bought some arrows using that gold, and then murdered them using those arrows. And it's called the Circle of Life. This is what I needed to complete the adventure path. And completion of the adventure paths give me access to some vouchers, giving off some eerie seasonal pass vibes. Minus the seasons, of course. You know, when there's a free-to-play track and there's a pay-to-win track. Kinda feels like that, but completely different. I spent some time fixing up my bags with the help of the bank. And once again, I'm kinda lost. What am I supposed to do now? Maybe flex those new muscles by going on a quest? A quest like helping a restless ghost get back to some sleep? Because I know I've been there. And once again, we are meeting random old men at random locations. Now this looks like an old man who takes his grandson to interdimensional adventures. And instead of turning into a pickle, it looks like he's gonna help us solve our own pickle, giving us this amulet that lets us talk to ghosts. And the ghost refuses to go to the afterlife because he's missing his skull, which for some reason is in the altar at the wizard's tower. I don't get it. Well, ghost laid to rest like a fart in the wind. We also help a farmer shear his 100% legit sheep. I also stumble upon a haunted manor and I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. And of course, I get trapped inside and have to navigate through a puzzle. I see this dangerous looking coffin and so I run out of the manor like a little girl. I pick up some cabbages which may be useful, and they are because I get hit by a tree. I also decide to stock up on some runes because I'm going to need it for my fire strike. I go back to the mansion and explore further, meeting this old man who looks like he takes his grandson on intergalactic adventures. I go back to the coffin and stop being a pussy, facing a vampire that unfortunately leads to my death. I meet death, but still go back for round 2, and manage to win this time due to RNG of damage ranges. Congrats me. I then go on the treasure hunt, facilitated by this orb, who plays a little game of hot and cold with us, until it finally got hot. Okay, it should be somewhere around here. I should just be a few tiles off. Ah, there we go. And we get ourselves this. What is this? I don't know what the cipher means, but I'm sure the text says... Now Okay, this is beyond me. I don't even know the basics of ciphers. I guess I have to open the Runescape wiki now. Maybe I should have opened this from the start. Okay, where are you? The fourth clue is a Caesar shift, which according to everyone's favorite reference website, is shifting the entire position of the alphabet, or as my stem cell brain likes to think about it, a frame shift mutation. And in this example, everything is shifted 3 steps to the left. D, E, F now become A, B, C. Or something like that. You get the idea. Thank you, Caesar. But since I already saw what the location was, let's go ahead and look for it. It was supposed to be a pig pen, somewhere here in Draenor Village. But I haven't seen a single pig pen anywhere. Not here, not here. Where the hell is this pig pen? I've pretty much circled the entire area. I think I've gone around the fields at least 3 times now, until eventually I found it. And for some reason it's deep in the village, instead of somewhere out in the fields. We dig up an ancient casket, and hear more creepy whispers in the wind, and give it back to its rightful owner. And another job well done. And I have to say, while the RuneScape quests are quite interesting, I didn't find it quite as enjoyable as what I was doing earlier, grinding. And now that I've switched over to magic, I'm going to need a lot of runes, and this just won't be enough. I can't just keep bashing barbarian heads in with my staff. So what is a good way to make money in RuneScape? Something even a free non-member could do. And eventually I found my solution back in Lumbridge. So this oak tree over here grows back really fast. Plus it's not too far from the bank in Lumbridge Castle, which is unfortunately found 2 floors up. I even find myself a little competition. Some dude named Jeez Rick. This dude. Not that it really matters anyway, because honestly this is pretty relaxing. I just need to click on this tree every 2 minutes at least. Go run up the stairs to the bank every 5 to 10 minutes. Water my plants, order some food, and in no time at all, I managed to farm around 7,000 oak logs. And so I take them out of the bank en masse, and as I was walking towards Varrock, where the Grand Exchange was, I realized how stupid I was that I withdrew in Lumbridge, and I'm walking along this dangerous road with all my value, within striking range of some magical muggers. Thankfully, I managed to go past them without much trouble, and I can finally exchange these logs for 400,000 gold, which is around more than 200 times the amount of gold I had in my bank, and around 10,000 times the money I've ever made when I was playing this as a kid. Unfortunately, I don't really know how this grand exchange system works, so I'm gonna let the automated suggested prices roll. And now we wait. Oh, that was fast. It's been 5 seconds. Hey yo, I got 100k more. That's so cool. I'm half a millionaire now, and I don't want to lose my first million. So let's bank it up. Put most of it in there, leave a little to myself for some runes, buy said runes, and realize just how profitable woodcutting was. And now I couldn't stop myself. I searched around for some nearby trees, and it looks like there's one close to the bank here in Varrock. And it turns out to be some yew trees, which I should be able to cut with my skill. And these yew logs take quite a long time to cut. So now I can watch House of the Dragon and still make money. And now I have a goal set in mind. I'm going to reach 1 million, which would hopefully fund all of my endeavors. And so I chop, deposit the logs in the bank, and chop, and chop, and chop. And unsurprisingly, I reached the magical number. Let's go, Hamala. Okay, how many logs have I actually gathered? I've stacked around 2,200 yew logs, each worth around 260 gold. And if my math is correct, that should be worth around 500,000, which means we've done it. And so this is what Hamala has become after 100 hours. A lumberjack of legendary skill. And now I regret I didn't play this when I was a kid. Old School Runescape was pretty fun. And even though for the vast majority of the game I was doing random stuff, confused, I enjoyed every step of the way, from the questing, to the grinding, to the chopping. And I have not met a single sweaty, raging nerd, except for myself. It's a game where you dictate your own pace, instead of having it be dictated by other people. The game is certainly focused around grinding, but because there is no competitive content and there are no time gates that you have to catch up to, the worst aspects of grinding are certainly minimized. It's a game where you don't have to log in every day, so if you have your free time centered on 1 or even 2 days, you will not be at a disadvantage to someone who logs in every day. And after 100 hours, well, more than 100 hours at this point, I have barely scratched the surface of this game, even the free-to-play content. I will definitely be returning to Old School RuneScape next time as a member. And that is all for this video. Thank you for watching.